I'm ready when you are.
All right, you ready?
3, 2, 1.
Now we got it on camera. Perfect. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Falcons Corner. Voice of the Falcons, Mike Rickert. Out from behind the camera, next to me, SID. Now it's basketball season. It's both. Triple Threat Tom still remaining for at least one more week. TD Tom.
TD Tom.
Yes.
Happy to be back.
Yeah, it's nice to have you sitting down here. Danny is not suspended. He's still with us, but he's taking care of illnesses.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's playing doctor and doing all that stuff, so hopefully everyone is feeling better in the next day or so, and we'll see a smiling face back here next week.
That's what we're hoping for. Plus, you put in a long shift
of
soccering.
Soccering all week, all season.
Was running the clock at basketball last night. So.
Yes, and stuff. So let's start. We talked about last week how it was championship week. So let's start with how sad championship week ended.
Yeah.
Women were the first to be eliminated. They lost last Thursday. What was the final? 4-2?
4-2. Melanie Shumway scored a pair of goals in the first half. So it was 2-2 at the break. Just couldn't quite get that breakthrough they needed.
And I know they ended up playing shorthanded
a
little bit in the rest, for at least half of the match. Which kind of hurt them at the end when they tried to get possession and just couldn't. And Sussex just kind of played keep away.
An injury took someone out of the game, and then Essex was able to just enough to kind of get across the line.
Yes, and I'm assuming that Mercer ended up beating Sussex in the women's championship. I did not see any results.
I believe so. I didn't see what the results were, but I think that was kind of the way things were leaning in terms of Mercer just being as good as they were.
Okay, good. Well, congratulations to Coach on his success this year and building the program. And I think he's got some right pieces in place. He'll be returning 2 all-region players. And
congrats to Melanie Shumway and Emma Scalise making first team all-region Division I, Division II.
Right, and there's some girls that he could build around. Hopefully, Lindsay Tasker returning. Maybe we could find someone in goal and we get out here and she could start scoring more goals.
Let her run around a little bit.
And stuff too. So and then. Speaking of Danny, his men traveled to Mercer on Friday, and his goal was to try to score early and just sit back and try to just control things from there. And unfortunately, they got down early and ended up losing 8-0.
Mercer scored early.
Yes, Mercer scored early and often. And then Joe Papp was at the game and was giving us updates. And like every 30 seconds, we were getting Mercer score. I was wanting to text back, Joe. Stop. We get it now, all right? Enough. Stop rubbing it in. But congratulations to Coach Berg and his squad. Got a couple of victories, more than we thought we were going to get since we were coachless. Didn't really have a chance to put in a recruiting class and pulled some different strings to convince some people to come out for the squad again. And,
think of it back in August when we were kind of in the lurch and we weren't even sure if a season was going to happen.
Right.
And they end up playing 10 games. They end up winning 4 of them. And get some of these guys an opportunity to get out on the field and play a little bit.
And we're playing for our sophomores to get some film and so they can move on to a 4-year school and continue their soccer careers if they choose. Or they can just come back here. Maybe they'll just come back and apply for the job. and be that.
They'll have that chance.
We got to give Danny a shout out though, because he saved our tail by hopping, since he's the only one that really knows soccer, like how to coach.
Right.
Any of us could have probably fit in for basketball or baseball or softball since we've all played those sports, but not too many soccer guys in the athletic department other than Danny. So a shout out to him and keeping those guys together and getting to the postseason.
Yeah,
and, what I would just say, even though he wouldn't, because I know he hates to lose, a successful season with his 4 wins, and like I said, more importantly, getting those sophomores some film.
Absolutely. And then congrats to Amir Hoti, who was also picked to be a part of the all-region team. He was kind of playing in a position this year that he's not used to, playing at the back.
Right.
He's more of a midfielder, but he kind of helped them at least solidify the best they could, the back line. And he still ended up with a couple assists, a couple goals as well. So, but he was picked as a all-region member.
Right.
So.
And then we'll start from scratch again, as I just saw that the job is posted. Soccer job is posted, so hopefully we'll get someone in here really soon, and they can build a recruiting class and get us to where we need to get to. So they could be as competitive as baseball, softball, and football are in the win column and stuff too.
Absolutely.
And then to finish off the sadness, last week of championship week, volleyball fell in the Region 19 championship to former Division I Monroe University, now Division II Monroe University. Swept the first match against Harkin College. They played really, really well, and then came out a little bit slow in the first set in the championship match. I don't know if they were just trying to feel their way into the match, because Monroe was very, very good. So maybe they're just trying to figure out, all right, how are we going to do things here? Came out in set number 2 and were dominant for about 2/3 of that set. Some unforced errors hurt them a little bit. Monroe came back and squeaked out a little out of that second set W, and then by the time we got to the third set, I think the gas was just out of the engine, and we just
that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
I thought for parts of that second set, watching it back, that was probably some of the best volleyball we've played all year. Just in terms of especially going against a big team like that and taking a 19-12 lead, but. Like you mentioned, some mistakes. It's going to happen. And Monroe's a good team.
Yeah, like I said, got out to that nice lead, and then, like I said, mistakes. Timeouts, for some reason, timeouts in volleyball always work. When an opponent calls timeout, it always seems that they're going to come back and they're either going to,
it stops that momentum.
Yeah,
for
they're
whatever
just going to
reason.
side out, and it's going to just change momentum. So. I always say come out of the timeout is a huge service game. I know a couple times I think we even had some service errors and stuff, especially in set number 3. A handful of service errors. And as you know, any sport, you can't hand teams that may be better than you, more talented, you free points. And unfortunately we did that. But again, Coach Shelby Reese bringing back a majority of the squad from this year. And we know she's always out on the recruiting trail, and
you also have to look at it. Yes, they're disappointed to not win the championship, but they get back to the championship match, which is not something we're used to in terms of our team continuously competing in that level. Improved to 17 wins from 14 from last year. So you improve your win total. It's the most since 2014 that they've had in a season. Like. The base is there, it's getting built.
And since I've been here watching Lackawanna volleyball, no team would ever have a chance to compete. And like I said, even though it was a sweep against Monroe, and the lopsided scores in set 1 and set 3, we competed. It wasn't just like a walkover. And I haven't seen a team here since this year that could compete at a high level like that. So the pieces are moving forward in the right direction. So we're excited to see what volleyball holds in the future.
Absolutely.
Shout out to one to Maddie Durfee, who I don't think got to 1,000 assists. I know she was very close.
She was close, but I don't believe she got there.
Yeah, I know that that's the lack of scoring in that Monroe match might have hurt her a little bit, but very close to 1,000 assists for her 2-year career, which is saying something. And a big thank you to all of our sophomore fall athletes, for their contribution.
Absolutely.
Over the last 2 years or 1 year, depending on how long they were here. And we wish them the best of luck, of course.
Definitely.
All right, so let's talk basketball. And then we'll take a break.
Okay.
All right, so because we got to have some kind of goodness. So the women are 2-0.
Yeah, they are.
They blowout loss last year to Catonsville by beating Catonsville by
3 points.
3 points, and then in the second game of the what was the place?
The CCBC Catonsville Tip-Off Classic.
All right, good. Came back and had a 30-ish point victory, 40-point victory.
86-46.
And then one of the Franklin girls,
Salote,
not Soraya, Salote Franklin. We didn't get the chance to see her last year since she was ineligible. Had a very good weekend.
Oh my goodness, she did. She had 30 points in her first game in a Falcons uniform in that win against Catonsville, and then had 19 and 18 in the win over Richard Bland on Saturday. But scored in a variety of ways, had a couple 3-point shots, got inside, used her speed to get to the basket and all that. Really feels like she could be a difference maker for the team, just even from last year's team to this year's team, just kind of adding her into the mix of who returns. Just a big deal.
And then a couple of returners from last year, Desi White and Jayla South, contributed in both of those victories and stuff too. So, hopefully they are a handful to have to deal with this season. I don't believe they're back in action until next week, I believe.
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday on the road.
Yeah, Montgomery College, Maryland, in Rockville. So that'll be an interesting matchup because if you remember, they played us here last year. It was a pretty comfortable win for them, I think.
Right.
But you go on the road down there, you've still early in the season, still trying to figure some stuff out, maybe try to avenge that loss, and you kind of start to put yourself, all right, maybe we've got something here.
Yeah. So that'd be a good matchup. And of course, there's a link for that. You know where to go to.
Yep.
Twitter.
We'll be posting it.
X, whatever. It'll be posted somewhere. The men opened up their season, the regular season, on Saturday with a victory down on Thaddeus Stevens. Looked like it was not as close as the score would indicate. I think we were up pretty decent amount at halftime there.
They led by 19 at the half. It got as close as 3 at one point. Because Thaddeus Stevens started making 3-point shots. But they were able to stretch it out. And for the win, Sean Smith at 20 points, who's a transfer from Lock Haven. But is kind of running the show, running the point for them. And Evan Laborn-Booty had 13 or 14 points, I think it was, in the win. And I think it was Noah McIntosh at 16 in the win too.
Okay, so I know those are the 3 guys I think that Coach Fallon are going to lean on heavily throughout the season. So it's nice for them to get victory number 1. However, last night as they faced up the street, up the highway rival Penn State Scranton, you mentioned 3-point shooting by Thaddeus Stevens. That's something we didn't do Monday evening. I think we were 3 of 21 from long range. 3 of 27. Well, let's say 3 of 21 because that doesn't sound as bad as 3 of 27. Yikes. But really did not shoot the ball well at all last night, and that cost us in a blowout loss to the Nittany Lions. Was it 86-63?
86-63. And they hit 3-point shots. They didn't hit a lot of them, but they hit 3-point shots, and they shot 40-some% from the field. And they had a kid who scored. It was a throwback game, I thought, because he had 33 points without shooting a 3-point shot. And was 16 of 20 from the field. He just cleaned up inside in the lane and inside the 3-point line. He just kind of cleaned up. And it was like, I don't want to say he was Charles Barkley, but it reminded me of a Charles Barkley-like player.
He wasn't 6'10". I think he had to be like 6'3", 6'4", but like a built guy. But he controlled the inside, and they had some guys that knocked down some threes, like you said, and we just couldn't put the ball in the basket.
I think that was the problem for us. We couldn't really control the inside, and then we started shooting from the outside, and the team's just not there yet.
Yeah, hopefully that's not deja vu from last year because we had a hard time from the perimeter last year and from the free throw line last year, and we didn't.
I think it's early.
It is,
and these guys are still kind of figuring out how to play with each other. Some of them, especially some of the transfer guys and the first year players, they're all kind of trying to adjust.
And talent-wise, we probably have more on our roster than Penn State Scranton does. But being a 4-year school and having sophomores and juniors and seniors that have played together for a couple of years always helps. I say that all the time. Even when football would go to scrimmage Division III teams, we don't have Division III guys on our football team. We have Division I, worst case Division II, and we still have a hard time against guys that know scheme and play together and are a little bit older and stuff too. So, but the men are back at it. Today's Tuesday. They're back at it yesterday.
Yes. Montgo.
There it is.
Region 19 champion from last year in Division III.
Right.
I saw them play, and they were really, really good. And I thought, man, I wish we played more D3 teams because this would be a fun game to watch. So hopefully that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. So we can't put the link up there to watch it because it already happened.
It already happened.
But the score was just posted. So hopefully it's a W. But they're back home again the 21st, I believe, and we can talk about that next week.
Yeah, but they are in action this weekend.
That's right. The men and women are on the road this week. Are the women on the road?
No, the women are not on the road.
When are they going to Niagara? Or
not until the next weekend.
Okay, I knew that.
The men are on the road in Syracuse at the SUNY Onondaga tip-off, the Laser Tip-Off Classic, and they're
if there's a link somewhere, it'll be somewhere.
Jefferson Community College on Saturday at 3, and then they're playing the hosts Onondaga Sunday at 3 o'clock.
Are the women on the road this weekend too?
They are not.
They're not back at it until the 14th.
Not doing it until Tuesday.
Okay, all right.
The 12th. So.
All right, so we have coming up our athletes of the week last week. 2 of like the 7 of them, right?
You can't fit everybody on camera.
Right, so you have Christian Bundra and Nick Csillan, coming on, 2 of the offensive linemen. You chatted with them, and then we're going to air that after these commercials, and then we'll be back.
And then we'll be back because we got to talk football.
We got to talk football. All right, we'll be back in the Falcons Corner. Take flight.
Hey, it's Tom Ferguson, Sports Information Director here. We're finally catching up with some of our athletes of the week, and these guys are the representatives from the Lackawanna College offensive line. They were picked as athletes of the week because of the great performance you guys had against hockey. We've got Nick Csillan and Christian Bundra joining us here from the offensive line. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. Appreciate it. I know you guys are getting ready for Monroe as we film this right now, but can't believe we're already kind of getting to the end of the season, right? It's only a couple games left in the regular season. How do you guys feel having gotten to this point?
I feel like we definitely left some things on the table against GMC and Snow, but we got another shot in next week. But we can't overlook Monroe, so it's gonna be big for us next week. But we gotta handle business this week.
Right. Is that kind of what you're feeling too?
Yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, a really long year, but, we got to focus on this week before we get to next week.
Right. Let's talk a little bit at least about the hockey matchup. You guys have to travel out there on a bus ride. I know it was kind of difficult even trying to get there and all that and playing against that team, but came out with a really, really impressive offensive performance, especially up front, 460 yards of rushing offense there. And the only negative play was a botched snap at one point, or a bad handoff. So what's that like for you guys as an offensive line when you're getting that kind of a push, you're getting that kind of lift for your offense to kind of give them what they need to operate?
It was nice. It's always nice to see our work pay off. Our coaches train us really hard to just go out there and dominate every team we have. So when we were out there to just dominate their defensive line like that for the entire game, it was nice.
And does it help having backs like Maurice and Galamima and some of the other guys that even came in and played well? Does it help having guys like that behind you?
It does. We got tough runners. We got smart running backs. We had a good game plan going in, and we just got it done.
Also, it's not even just you guys on the offensive line. It was the H-backs that stepped up as well, and Carrington, who kind of lines up, even as a wide receiver, lines up tight on the line with you guys. I mean, that obviously has to help and kind of boost you guys as well, just to have that kind of support.
Yeah, he's a small guy, but man, he's tough. He's tough, especially when they put him in motion and have him cracking that defensive end. But yeah, H-backs played very well as well, so can't leave him out of that.
What gets you guys fired up as an offensive line? Like, what's something that motivates you and makes you want to go out there and do what you have to do?
Just watching our running backs play. Like, we have a lot of talented running backs on the roster. Not all of them get to play. So watching some of our backups be able to go in and score touchdowns was awesome.
Yeah, especially running hard like JoJo was, and even Bernardo Henry was doing his thing as well and really stepping up. Also, Brian Johnson and Wyatt kind of sharing the load as quarterbacks there. Two very different quarterbacks, but when Brian's in there, it's another running threat for you guys, right?
Yes, sir.
Is there kind of a difference in how you approach as blocking or as an offensive line when he's in the game?
We call different plays for each quarterback because Wyatt has the arm and Brian is a really good runner. So a lot of the times when he's in the game, he's going to take the ball and run for 30, 40 yards.
Right. And he had a big game against Hocking there. So now heading into Monroe, what's kind of the thought process? You've already faced these guys once. It wasn't a particularly close game, but we know it's tough to beat a team multiple times in the season. What's kind of your focus heading into Monroe?
Our focus is just not beating ourselves. I mean, like you said, it is hard to beat a team twice, but I feel like we have the guys to do it, and we just can't beat ourselves. We just gotta do what we're good at and trust the coaches and trust each other, and we can get it done.
Is there a little extra motivation to do you guys pay any attention to like the national rankings, anything like that? Is there a little extra motivation after this week?
Yeah, we went down after such a big win, but so we're trying to get back up because of the rankings and everything, and they're a good team, and then we play Georgia Military, the number 2 team in the country, the week next. So.
Right. So you still have opportunities potentially at a postseason bowl, right?
Yes,
that's the goal. Let's talk a little bit about you guys. Nick, you're from New Jersey originally, right? Mm-hmm. How did you get here to Lackawanna College?
So one of my offensive line coaches from high school played here. His name was Clarence Bailey.
Okay.
And he had told my high school head coach, and my high school head coach, I was sitting in his office, and we emailed our stuff to Lackawanna, and like the next day, Coach Dayton was just in his office. And, yeah, my high school coach pretty much told me that's where I'm going. I didn't have a choice. So
Do you feel like he led you down the right
definitely,
path?
Definitely. I still talk to him to this day.
How much do you feel like you've improved? Because this is your second year with the program, right? How much do you feel like you've improved in your time here at Lackawanna?
Oh, I definitely think I've improved. It just going like the gap from high school to college is unreal, and I feel like you mature a lot from your first year to your second year.
Right.
And trusting like Coach Mike's program and just getting smarter overall as a football player.
Right.
Just helps you become better.
What are you studying here at Lackawanna?
Business.
Business. What do you want to do with a business degree?
I don't know yet, to be honest.
That's okay.
Still unsure. Yeah.
You're in a good spot. That's
Yeah.
fine. Obviously, the goal is to play moving forward at a 4-year school.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Christian? You're from Northampton originally, right?
Yes, sir.
So how did you get here to Lackawanna College?
I was planning to just go D2, D3 because those were my offers out of high school, and my one good friend, Jaden Huber, had a recruiting internship at a country across college at UNLV.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me. And he told me about Lackawanna, and he said he truly believed that I could play better than where I was going to go. So he reached out to the coaches here and brought me out here. And I still talk to him all the time to this day. He's helping me get to the farther level.
How do you feel like you've improved? Because you played a lot last year on last year's offensive line. How do you feel like you've improved in your time here?
I've improved a lot. I played tackle in high school, and when I got here, they moved me to guard and now center. So I just know how to play every position, and I've gotten a lot stronger thanks to Coach Mike.
That's a good point. You didn't play center last year. You kind of had to step into that role this year. What was that like for you, kind of stepping into that?
It was different for sure. It was unlike any position I've ever played, but it was cool. It was not an easy transition, but I think it made me better overall.
Right. What are you studying here at Lackawanna?
Professional studies.
Okay, so what do you want to do with professional studies?
I plan on being a history teacher.
Okay. Oh, very cool. Are you into history?
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular branch of history?
Like
really
U.S. history, really, like the World Wars. I always enjoy.
All right, so a little like kind of a book nerd in a way. In that. Okay, very very cool. And obviously, 4-year school, you'd like to move on and continue to play football, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the goal. What were your guys' impressions when you first met Coach Duda?
My first impression was the video that Coach Dayton sent me about his history and how he helps people get to the next level. And then when I was here, he actually brought me on my visit. So as soon as I met him, I trusted him, and I still trust him that he's gonna get me to the right place.
Right. Was it a little bit intimidating, or?
Yeah,
very, especially on the first visit.
He's an intense individual, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a good energy, right? And it's kind of the energy you guys want to try to match. It's certainly what matches what the program does. Team-wise, it feels like you guys are very close, and it feels like there's a good kind of camaraderie, good kind of a bonding between like everybody on the team, not just offense and defense and all that, right? Is that kind of the impression?
Yeah, we've been with these guys 2 years now. A lot of the starters now we've known for coming to 2 years, and it's not easy out here at a JUCO, so we all got close just through that, and they're a good bunch of kids.
Right. Yeah. And you guys have obviously been through some stuff this year too that I'm sure has brought you guys even closer, and in hopes of finish things off right here. What do you guys like to do in your spare time when you're not worrying about studies, you're not worrying about football? What are some of the things you guys like to do to unwind or do in your spare time?
I think we both like to play video games. We're roommates, so we do a lot of the same.
So what video games are you guys playing?
Right now, Black Ops 6. It just came out this week.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Did you guys get into the college football game at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was very fun.
Who are we playing as?
I play as Coastal Carolina.
Okay. Any particular reason?
I like their field. The field's really cool.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. What about you?
I play as Rutgers.
Okay. Jersey, right? Yeah. Is it hard being a Rutgers, New Jersey kid here in Pennsylvania? There's a lot of Penn State, or?
No, there's a lot of Ohio State, to be honest, but yeah, it's not that hard.
No, you're good with it.
Yeah, it's harder with my Giants and Eagle fans.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Yeah.
This is a weird area in terms of you get Eagles fans, Steelers fans. There's pockets of Jets fans. There's Dolphins fans here too. Yeah. We're just kind of like a mix of everybody. So there's a couple Giants fans though. Not a great season to be a Giants fan right now, but
yeah.
There's still time, right?
Yeah, still time.
guys, we appreciate your time. Not just you guys along the offensive line, right? Obviously the other 3 starters and even the guys that came in afterwards had a great game. So it's you guys are the representatives, but really it's a group effort. When you guys are working like that together, I mean, do things just start to fall into place? Do that kind of come easier?
Yeah, when we're all working together, you really can do no wrong. Everyone has their back, and even when the young guys come in, they know what they're doing. So it's always just nice. Right.
And let's hope that continues, and let's get a win this weekend, right?
Yes, sir.
And then let's move on to the to sophomore day, which and the home game against Georgia Military.
Yes, sir.
That'll be fun.
Sir.
All right, Nick, appreciate your time.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much, Christian. Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you for having me.
These guys, Nick Csillan and Christian Bundra from the Lackawanna College offensive line and Lackawanna College football team, are athletes of the week on Falcons Corner. Take flight.
All right, we are back on the Falcons Corner. They're big dudes, right?
I'm not that big, but I'm relatively tall,
Right.
and I was kind of looking up at Nick the whole time while he was talking.
Well, 6'7", whatever, get you looking up in your next door. I'm kind of immune to it now. So like when I see like other guys like, oh, he's big, and I just don't see it. Yeah, sure, he's 6'4" and 300 pounds, but I'm used to 6'7", 6'8", 330.
Yep.
But 2 awesome kids. They work their tails off in the weight room. They never miss. They're there early. I know Nick just got a couple offers, so I'm excited for him, and I think Christian will be on his way. Unfortunately for him, he's kind of out of position this year. He filled a big hole in playing center when we lost one. So
and they talked about it in the interview, especially Christian, about playing center and how it's different, but he feels like he became a better player because of it. Right. Because now he knows pretty much every position on the line.
Yeah. So I'm hoping he gets a good offer and stuff too. 2 good dudes. Happy for them. So speaking of football, traveled up to Monroe to play with them for the second time, and it's like, it's always tough to beat an opponent 2 or 3 times in one season. So a nail biter, got down early, fought our way back, down late. Brian Johnson, who is this week's Athlete of the Week for the second time this year, our first dual Athlete of the Week, with a nice scramble 360 move, sneaking into the end zone. And then, like we didn't do against Snow, we did not allow a go-ahead touchdown, and held on for a victory.
We thought about it for a second there.
Yes, but we did have an interception. The Brian Johnson run got us up 1, and then on the next play off the kickoff, we didn't get a personal foul on that, which is good. Which is check that one off the box. We had a touchdown return for an interception. Yeah. And then another kickoff.
Without a penalty.
Beautiful. And then we was able to hold Monroe. But there were some penalties on that drive, though, going down.
We did a ball to the 15.
Yes, we did get one to take it down to the 15.
I was sitting there watching it on my computer like, oh, no, don't do this again with 6 seconds. But the defense was outstanding.
They played great,
Josh Pardini, our quarterback's coach and our boss, will tell you that the defense played outstanding. They had 7 sacks on the day, including one in the final play where the quarterback's rolling to the left, has nowhere to go, and is tackled out of bounds, more or less. 14 tackles for loss. They held Monroe to 38 yards rushing. When our offense kept fumbling the ball and couldn't finish drives, the defense kept standing on their head to keep us in that game. And then you mentioned the interception return for touchdown. Patrick Bodie Jr. steps in front of a pass on the left side, returns it for a score, put us up 8, and just give us that extra cushion.
And plus, even to mention, a couple guys were banged up a little bit in that game. So there's some guys filling in some spots and stuff too. So, like we said, next guy up, that's why we have a 2 deep. And get after it. So that leads us to this upcoming Saturday as we face off. We're number 9 in the rankings.
Number 9.
So we moved up 2, which is, I don't understand. We win, we drop, we win, we move up 2. I don't know. Just move us up 2 the week before and just leave us. However, number 2, Georgia Military comes to town. Lost to them down at their place, 40-35. Last month, so they're coming up with a ton on the line because they are playing for a chance to compete for a national championship in the playoff, and we are competing probably for a nice bowl bid if we could sneak out a victory.
There's a lot on the line, and this was a close game down there at Georgia
Entertaining
Military.
Game.
3 separate times our team came back from a double-digit deficit to get within a point or get it tied, and then had a lead late, and then Georgia Military scored to win. But this is huge, as you mentioned. Georgia Military, number 2 in the country, 9-1 overall.
Yep.
A win pretty much guarantees them a home playoff game,
yep.
a 4-team playoff. A win for us more or less guarantees us a good bowl bid, and who knows what happens.
Yeah, you never know. Like the pile of teams could lose and get the 3 losses, and we could be that 1-2 loss team that sneaks in. You never know. It's a lot to ask, out of the rankings to move up 5 spots in 1 week, but you never can tell what can happen, but like I said, I know that they're playing to extend their season in any way that they can. So if you're in the area, the weather's supposed to be decent. I think like high 50s. There is a chance of rain. Okay, that doesn't matter. We have umbrellas. Come on out, watch some great junior college football. Yeah. Tell people that don't watch the Falcons Corner, even though I don't know how you can not watch the show, to come out and watch some great junior college football too. If not, you could hop online, TD time. You're going to have a busy day because there's probably going to be a lot of people tuning in from across the country to listen to you. I know. There's a lot of pressure on me now. Yeah. I have to make sure I'm pronouncing people's names right. Yeah. It's sophomore day as well, so we're celebrating our departing sophomore class from the football team. So there's going to be a little extra juice. Yep. 2 rivals that have been playing each other since 1995. So we're very familiar with the program. I don't know if we've beaten Military since 2019 when we played for a national championship. We have not beaten them since 2022, since we were home, and that was the year we went to the Wool Bowl. So I know it's been Georgia Military has 4 of the last 5, and they've won 3 straight. They won both games last year, and then they won obviously the first game this year. So it should be a really good. I'm excited, especially for our kids. One play in a spotlight game, right? Yeah, so not only are people going to be watching for the result, there's going to be, I think, some college coaches watching and stuff too. So it's really a chance for our guys to shine. So. These are the games you play for. Yeah. These are the games and it's nice that it's the last scheduled game. It's sophomore day, so we'll have more people in the stands too. And we've had great community support. This year, at our home football games and stuff. There's even a cowbell that shows up at the football games. There is. It's funny. I've noticed awesome. That this year. I'll announce it's a 3rd down or a 1st down, and the cowbell goes. And it's almost as good as having a band, but that's something we could always work on. Too. So. All right, we good? We're good. Shout out to esports had their thing. They made a lot of money. Yeah, unofficially $10,000 that they raised with Extra Life, which is awesome. Yep. So congratulations to Bob D and the esports crew for all the hard work they put in. They have their tournament, their Rocket League, I think it is, tournament coming up this weekend with NEIU, happening in the theater on Sunday the 10th. Wrestling competed this past weekend as well. That's right. About wrestling. I'm still not into this fall winter sports mood yet. It's tough. Yeah, we had 3 dudes wrestle, right? Yep. Yeah, okay. and they competed at the ESU Open. We will have some more wrestlers. I'm not sure how many competing in exhibition matches this Saturday down at Wilkes as part of the Wilkes Quad thing that they're hosting. They're allowing we have a good relationship, obviously, with Coach Fox, allowing our wrestlers to compete, get some matches in the exhibition. And then they're going to be also at, I think, the Electric City Duels the next weekend up at the University of Scranton. Cool. So they're getting busy. I know, Coach Fox is doing his thing and practicing, and the program is in the right hands. I saw them in here in study hall and getting ready for practice and all that stuff yesterday while we were getting ready for basketball. And if anyone's thinking about some Christmas gifts, because it's almost Christmas time, maybe next week I'll have a link to share where you could buy official Michael Rickert Stonehill baseball gear. All right. Officially licensed Stonehill gear. 10% will go to him, and 10% will go to me for mentioning it. Now, did he get the number? He's wearing 12. He's wearing 12, okay. Which is okay, one, because it's Francisco Lindor. Okay. He's not 9, which Rickert's always 9s until he came here, and then he was afraid to ask for 9. He was afraid to ask for 9 at Stonehill, but 12 was his basketball number, throughout his basketball career, because you can't wear 9 in basketball. So he's got something attached to it. Yeah, so he's got his 12 back, which was his basketball playing number for, his many years playing, junior hoops to junior high to varsity basketball. So there's some. So the 12, he was a little happy with 12. Okay, good. And stuff too. So you can get some Stonehill Rickert number 12 gear. What color? Purple, black, and I think some gray and white maybe. I could do purple. Yeah, I do all right in purple. Yeah, and then there's no discount code because all the proceeds go back to me and Michael. Of course. Yes. So we'll talk about that where he's going with that and stuff too. So, but that'll be awesome. We'll put some of that stuff up. That's a selfless plug. Absolutely. And if I can say, my polar bear, who just started golfing 4 years ago, named first team All-Star. Let's go. Lackawanna League Division 2. So how about that? He was excited. So just started golf 4 years ago. League All-Star. So League All-Star,
excellent spotter in football games.
Yes.
He can do it all.
Yes. Joe's trying to convince him not to go away to school so he could continue spotting for the next couple of years and stuff too. So
don't go learn things. Stay here.
Stay here. You can learn plenty here. So, all right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on the Falcons. Best of luck to our Falcon guys and our basketball dudes this week too. All right. We'll see you next week. Take flight.